Hey, what's up guys, Nanjiroh here. Welcome to week 7 of Ask Nan. Now, I know that this is very late, but I've been sick, I recovered, then I got sick again, and I've just been very busy. Now, you guys have left me quite a few questions actually this week, and a lot of them, some of them actually took me some time to answer. Well, some time for me to actually think of like a coherent answer for you, because I do naturally have like answers to any questions that you guys might ask me. However, it does take me some time to format it in a coherent way. So let's just go ahead and get to it now. And I will be pointing out that this question here, this one, I'll be talking about it in its own separate video, so I'm gonna be skipping that one. All right, so to start off with, Time asks me, is ouroverse still good enough? Yes, ouroverse is still a very good card. Now, right now, for Dragon players, we're in a kind of like transition stage, because like, with the nerf to ouroverse, you're now not as hard stuck on, okay, well, my deck has to have 2 ouroverse in it, because now you can kind of like venture out and do different things. Just because for the most part, the Dragon lists that you've seen have all kind of more or less used like the same stuff from the previous set. Just because for the most part, with Dragon, when they get cards, they only maybe get like 1 or 2 cards per set. Like, it's not like, say, Blood, who got like 5 cards a set, or say like Shadow, who got like 2, or well, who got like 2 or 3. But both there's let them actually like transform how they play their deck. So right now, like, people are sort of in a testing phase for Dragon, trying to figure out what works, what does not, and if they can cut ouroverse entirely. Just because obviously there was a world in a Dragon deck before ouroverse, and now people are trying to get back to that. But yes, the card is still very good. It still beats down a lot of mid-range type decks. Like, for example, if you play it versus Sword early enough and you're still relatively healthy and you can like manage it well, the card is still a +2 each and every time it comes out. Provided that you manage it well. You won't get the healing. However, if you're not, like close to dead, it shouldn't matter. Question 2: what happens to Saha Lucy? Now, okay, so Saha Lucy has actually seen a bit of a resurgence in order to combat the very aggressive aggro decks that you're seeing in the meta right now. Like, for example, you need Saha Lucy if you're versus any variant of Blood right now, just because like the healing from Saha Lucy is one of the best 2-card heals in the game, because you heal for 4 from the Lucy during his end phase, but you also heal effective HP from whatever it is that you clear on the board, as well as playing out the Lucy again the second time on turn 8 if you're allowed to do so. So in total, it's 4 to 8 physical healing, tangible, you can see this healing, and then it's like upwards of 10 plus in effective healing, and it's still very good. Now, it's not the best versus some decks. Like, for example, you're not going to want Saha Lucy versus D-Shift, or you're not going to want Saha Lucy versus Aegis, and so on. So there's still like some trade-offs between using it and not using it, and it's going to be important to try to like figure out exactly what strategies that you can use, or sorry, what lists that you can use to incorporate that doesn't actually like die to other things quite so easily. I do have a list for that. I guess I can share that like probably tomorrow or something like that, just like when I wake up, because I am starting to get a little bit tired at the time of this recording. Also, Zika asked me, why is Aura the ugliest Dragon card? Alright, so for me, this is biased because I'm like a major Aura fanboy, but I don't think Aura is the ugliest Dragon card, to be honest. I'm pretty sure that title goes to Master of Draconic Arts. Like, I really wish that I had like kept a picture of this card on my phone, so that way I just pull it up for you guys. But I will probably go ahead and try to like leave a link to the card and down in the description below. But the card is very atrocious. Just no, just no. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that one takes the cake as the ugliest Dragon card. Now, I would have liked for ouroverse to have like eventually gotten, you know, like alternate art, but I don't think he'll ever get alternate art, which makes it kind of sad, just because again, I really like the card a lot, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not gonna ever gonna get alternate art now that he's been nerfed. But hey, you never know, things happen. Ouroverse leader 2017, I'm hyped. Alright, now Kiri asked me, why should players settle for dragon and 1 snake when they can settle for blood and 5 snakes? Now, if you don't know what he's referencing, he's comparing ouroverse to maelstrom serpents. Now, maelstrom serpent is actually a card that was like super sure that the dragon was gonna get, just because like snakes are pretty well. I'm not gonna say super similar to dragons, but a lot of times sometimes people historically will like relate snakes to being that of like similar to that of dragons in physiology. Now, for the actual maelstrom serpent itself, if you don't know what the card does, it's 8 mana, 5. It's an 8 mana 5/5 fanfare. So summon a copy of itself, and then if you're in vengeance, get 5 copies of the maelstrom serpent instead. So it can be so without the effect, it's an 8 mana 10/10, which is very, very good. And then with the effect, it's an 8 mana 25/25, but usually going to be a 20/20 because you usually will have a blood moon in play when you go ahead and play this. So I've played Bristol's deck like a few times, and I've actually almost lost the deck a few times. And I'm pretty sure I have actually lost once, but I'm pretty sure that was like a mistake on my part. Alright, Bounty44 asked me, what's your favorite food so I can start on the cooking collab special? Alright, so I like eating a lot of things. However, I think my favorite thing to eat would be like pork fried rice, honestly. So if you perhaps know how to cook that, then you can go ahead and show me how to cook that, and we can go ahead and get started. Now, if you're wondering the context of this, she actually asked me a while ago if I'd be willing to tutor her in exchange for her teaching me how to cook, which is a pretty done deal for me, because like if I had to physically cook for myself, I mean like, you know, like stuff that isn't just, you know, microwavable, you know, you just kind of like ready and go meals or anything like that, I would probably starve within a week if I didn't have money. Yeah. I know that sounds really bad, but it's actually really true. So yeah. So I would definitely take her up on her offer, and I really do want to do the cooking collab show now. And I know she said that as a joke, but like, I'm hype. Like, I want to do it. Like, hype. But yeah, so definitely, if you can teach me how to cook either that, or if you can teach me how to cook, like there's a lot that I'm like willing to eat. Like, I'm not particularly picky here. So, but yeah, like for the most part, I guess the better way of answering this question would just be to tell you what I don't eat. And for the most part, I don't eat eggs, and I don't eat. There was something else, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, okay, I remember now. It's like I don't eat eggs and I don't eat avocados. So for the most part, if you make me something that doesn't have like one of those two in it, or sorry, either of those two in it, I'll probably eat it. All right. So now roomnoxii actually. Let me go ahead and give him shoutouts, because he actually asked me he asked me 5 questions in total, but his first 3 questions are very, very detailed, and are probably probably in like my top 3 of the most difficult questions I've had to answer in an Ask Nanjiroh. Well, sorry, the most difficult, like in that they're like multi-tiered, and that they're not like you know, like asking me for like too much information or anything like that. Just that his questions were very, very well thought out. Now his first question, as I said earlier, is going to be its own separate video, just because like I tried so many times to answer this in like 5 to 10 minutes. I physically cannot do that. Like, So prepare for that video. I believe that video is about like half an hour total. Alright, so we're just going to go down to a second question. Following the previous question, we all know that the nature of card games play heavily on luck and RNG. Sometimes we lose not because we were the worst player, but just because we were not able to draw well the cards that allowed us to win. Do you think more tournaments would have more games per player, such as best of 5? This is practiced a lot in the fighting game community, where matches can be best of 3 sets, with each set being a best of 5 or best of 7 game. This will of course introduce longer match times, but would definitely lessen the odds of RNG and luck. How would a CCG be able to use a system like this, i.e. reducing the occurrence of RNG? Okay. So to start off with, one thing that I think is like super important for this game is that like perhaps if you started with more opening cards in hand, like for example, other games such as say Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh, you usually start off with 5 cards in hand, or in the case of Magic, you start off with 7 cards in hand, and then you have the option to mulligan. Now, the mulligans are actually super important because something that Magic lets you do is that Magic lets you get like 1 free mulligan, where you can just like mulligan however many cards you want, and then you just, you know, really, I'm pretty sure it's however many cards you want. It's been a while. We just go ahead and, you know, you get a free mulligan, and then every mulligan after that, you start to lose cards, and you start to like lose cards in your hand. Like, you get penalized for 1 card per mulligan that you take. So for example, if you mulligan twice, you get down to 6 cards. You mulligan 3 times, you get down to 5, etc. And I do think that seeing more cards in your opening hand would kind of like lessen this a little bit, just because like it gives you like better mulligan odds. It does make certain combo decks a little bit scarier. Like for example, D-Ship, like there are some games where the D-Ship player does brick. However, with say like a starting 5 cards in hand, that's going to be like less likely. However, the opposing player, you're still gonna have like more options to be able to do things. Now, so I think there's that. If you don't want to like introduce like longer games per match, because obviously like playing out 15 to 21 games per. Sorry, playing out 15 to 21 games per set in Swiss would be very, very difficult to. Well, it's not as difficult to do, but like it would probably like last a while. And considering that now that we just like introduced Swiss into NGE, and how those games still take like 8 hours to finish the entire tournament, that it could be a while. Now, I do think that this actually is something that Shadowverse could in fact do, just because, you know, the games last fairly short now. Like most games are usually over within like 6 to 8 turns for the most part. So, well, sometimes even less than that. But so that would help a lot. Just because like we've all been there where we're just like, you know, you're winning a game, and then you just need, you know, like 1 card to close that, and then you just, you know, you draw like 1 billion cards, you don't find the card, and your opponent finally like manages to claw their way back into the game, and then they kill you, and you feel bad. Like for me personally, the most recent story of this that was actually like super tilting was I lost versus an A rank player as a grandmaster. I lost versus an A rank player because he was playing dragon, and to be blunt, I literally shout on him. I shout on him as hard as possible, playing sword, and playing control sword at that too. And then I just, you know, I couldn't find my first Albert. Like my first Albert was somehow in my last 15 cards of my deck. I drew 20 plus cards. He was almost in fatigue. I couldn't find it. And then he won. The tilting part about all of this though is that like, even though he won, like, he still gave me a chance to kill him with Albert, like, and he just wasn't punished, and it was super tilting. And I literally I wanted to throw my phone, like just out of my window. I was that tilted. sometimes these games happen, and like I do think that as far as the tournament goes, that'd be like a lot easier to do this. However, I can go ahead and talk about this next part in question 3. Actually, no, I'll just talk about it now. Okay, because like, while yes, you can in fact run into what are called non-games, in which, games where, you don't get a chance to play the game at all and your opponent just like fucking steamrolls you, that it's less likely to happen here than it, well, to some extent, it's less likely to happen here than it is to happen in Magic the Gathering type games, where you actually have like land where you actually have to pay for your land as a resource, and instead of just having it be given to you naturally, which is kind of a trade-off. Because just recently I was watching ETS, which is the Eternal Tournament series, and I was watching one of the games in top 4, and the guy, he literally like he lost his game 3 because like he physically drew like 15 lands in a row, like, and it's just one of those, well, what do you, like, super unfortunate. So to some extent, like, I do think that yes, that the whole like having like non-games can be like improved upon it, and made a little bit like, less as common or less as apparent. I just think they'll probably take some of it for side games to want to like implement that, and it'll probably will have to happen once like something like really, really gross and disgusting happens somewhere, where they just like have like 3 non-games in a row just because like they just get bowled over by like aggro. Regarding Shadowverse, at its current rate, how soon do you think it'll be before it reaches a point where it doesn't become fun anymore? Brought on by power creeping expansions, new broken mechanics that favor RNG, such as Hearthstone, Shadowverse has grown quite a bit within its short lifespan, with the rapid expansions every 3 months or so. Do you think Shadowverse will benefit more from a longer expansion cycle, or would players get bored due to it being slower? Okay, so in order, so regarding the fun aspect, like, fun is very, very subjective, and it means different things to different people. Now, I think for like the casual player, where you only maybe like play maybe like say less than 20 games per day, that for you it will that as long as you're winning, you probably won't care that much. But like for the competitive player, if you're losing a lot, and you're physically, if you're say like a streamer or something like that, you physically have to play the game, then you're gonna get frustrated a lot, and sometimes you might quit. Like, additionally, if you're someone who puts a lot of time into the game, and you're either not seeing results, or you're putting in too much time, then you can burn out from that. And when you burn out, you're just not gonna find the game fun anymore. Now, for some people, the burnout happens a lot faster than others, and it's important that when you play, that you try to like minimize. They try to like minimize your sessions as much as possible. Like obviously, I'm not saying like play 5 minutes and then stop, because obviously that would only be like 1 game per day, and if you do 1 game per day, you're not gonna actually like get any enjoyment out of it. But I would say to try to like limit yourself to maybe say 2 to 3 hours of play, maybe a little bit more. But if you're like taking breaks in between, but for the most part, just like 2 to 3 hours per day. Just because I find that for the most part, if you do like any more than that, then you tend to get like burned out a little bit. And dealing with like constant burnout is a very, very fast way to just like stop finding the game fun. And when you don't find the game fun anymore, you're probably not going to want to play it. But for the power creeping expansions, power creep is in every single competitive card game. Well, yeah, just every single competitive card game that has ever existed that's actually like lucrative. Well, sorry, that's actually made a profit of some sort. I do think to some extent that like that some of the power creep in Shadowverse is a little bit over the top, just because the side games has been pretty open and shut about that. They want these games that fast. Like they want for like when these like finisher type cards come down, that they finish this game. And for the most part, to that, and they've like delivered that. Like they've shown us Aegis, they've shown us Spawn of the Abyss. Like all these cards that just, you know, when they come into play, you physically you kind of like run out of time. You know, you need to kill your opponent. You can't just like, you know, turtle and whatnot and then like somehow still kill your opponent. Like it's one of those, like, you need to be like proactive if you want to win. For broken mechanics, okay, for the broken mechanics part, to some extent, generally, each time you make a set, you want to try to both ask a question and try to push your limits a little bit here and there, just because, like, for the community, it's each set is a puzzle, and they just, you know, you're trying to go argue it to figure out, okay, what's broken, what can I abuse, how can I win as fast and as easy as possible. Whereas for the developers, it's actually a bit of a question, in that, okay, well, how did the community react to this? How much of a success and or failure was this set overall? And you do need to try to I guess like probe and sort of like ask your community this, not by asking them directly, just because like players don't know what they want. they really don't. It doesn't matter what game it is, they just don't know what they want, and that's fine. But just, you know, instead of like asking them directly, just, you know, ask them with like the mechanics that you introduce. See what happens. Like, for example, things like, say, pushing the neutral package this set, like just seeing how like the players that have like reacted to that and whatnot. That way you can like take away, okay, what was this a success? Was this a failure? Why or why not? Do I think Shadowverse will benefit more from a longer expansion cycle? Right. To be honest, I think that with the expansion cycle as short as it is, I should be fine. It honestly just comes down to the making changes monthly thing that they've started doing. I think that should help a lot. Just as long as they like either just so long as they try to, like, I guess, like, nerf at least like one card from like each set, because not from each set, one card from like each like class for the most part, because a big thing with this nerf cycle that a lot of people have complained about is that, like, oh, well, they nerfed 7 cards and somehow they nerfed 3 different legendaries but not Ektar. Which, to be honest, for me personally, I was okay with, because granted, I don't play mid shadow. However, it's one of those. It's still a learning process for them, for both them and for us, and I think that they'll come to realize that, okay, well, it's instead of just like nerfing the top like 3 classes, so you know, the best class, the class under that, and the class under that maybe, okay, maybe in the future when we go ahead and we nerf multiple classes, that we need to like go a little bit further, we need to nerf the 4th best class as well. Additionally, the player base is super impatient. I do not think that the Shadowverse player base could handle like 4 to 6 month long waits in between expansions, because let's quickly review. For nerfs / bans / erratas, etc., you know, just, you know, changes to cards and how they work. For the most part, Shadowverse is actually one of the fastest games for getting those out there, because even before this whole monthly thing happened, they usually did it about like a little bit over 2 months, maybe like 2.5, maybe like 2.125, or like or just, you know, 2.5 months into a set, which is actually still pretty good, because like because just, you know, quickly going down the line, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does it every 3 months now. Before, they used to actually do it every 6 months. Let's see, what else? Hearthstone, usually every like 4 to 5 months, sometimes more, and in the case of the Notorious Shaman, sometimes not even for a whole year. Let's see, Magic the Gathering usually almost never does it unless they're hard forced to do it. And and those are just, you know, some of the competitors that, like, and you can clearly see here that like that Shadowverse is just, you know, leagues and far ahead in terms of how fast that they're gonna, like, you know, change things. However, for the player base, 2.5 months wasn't enough. They complained. Dan's game, side games needs to do this shit in the first month. Like, god damn it, and all of that jazz. And then, you know, and then, you know, now they have, but still, that's, you know, that's not enough for players. They're like, no, like, first week, and if anything gets out of hand, no, side games, you need to come down with this nerf from me, just yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting too excited. Like, oh god, I only ever find this funny just because of how, like, impatient people are with these things, because, like, there's a lot of data that they need to, like, go ahead and compile. You need to make sure that you're not, like, running into any, like, false positives. Like, for example, the best example for this actually is Agriblood in ROB. For the first, like, 4 days of the expansion, Agriblood was everywhere. Then people, like, figured out how to deal with it, disappeared off the face of the earth. This and then, like, for this set, first 4 days of sorry, actually I lied. First, like, day and a half of the expansion, neutral sword everywhere. People figured out how to deal with it. Gone, just disappeared. So you need to account for that, and you need to account for just, you know, like, for, like, growing pains, because, like, some decks are just gonna be, like, difficult to like, build, like right off the bat. Like, for example, I know, like, in RB, like, again, common example, that, like, Roach and Daria, like, I don't remember exactly which one it was. I'm pretty sure it was Daria, or maybe it was Roach. But one of those two decks, it took a while to, you know, like, to find, like, the optimal list, and then, like, you know, start, like, doing stuff with it. Same thing with Dragon, actually. For the first, like, 3 days of, like, Tempest of the Gods, people kept telling me that, oh, Sahabaha Zell is a meme. No, it was a very, very real thing, and just, you know, it was a thing that worked. And it took a while for people to kind of, like, catch on to that. So you have to, like, account for that. You also have to account for people just, you know, being salty about, like, losing and whatnot, just because, you know, no one plays immaculately every single game. I guarantee you, every single person, including myself, like, you make at least one mistake somewhere per game for the most part, unless, you know, you're playing aggro. And even then, for the most, like, you can still make misplays when you're playing aggro. And yeah, so again, I don't think that they'd be able to handle it. Like, I just don't. Like, I think for the most part that the player base is just, you know, like, way too impatient and way too entitled, you know, like, for hashtag first world problems to be able to, like, deal with that. So yeah, I do like the system the way it is for the most part, just because, like, it's I guess for me personally, it's, like, the format that I'm, like, most used to, just because, like, Yu-Gi-Oh does it the same way. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh releases a set once every 3 months, has a ban, has like a nerf / like, ban part every 3 months and whatnot, and so on. And then his next question is, what's your favorite personal gaming story? Alright, so for this one, I actually didn't have just one. I have, like, a few, because, like, I didn't actually know if you meant just Shadowverse, or if you meant, like, in any game I've ever played. But right, but going for Shadowverse, I've had a lot. Mostly just, like, the games where like, it came down to value, and I had to, like, play, like, out of my mind in order to win. Like, so for example, Dragon games versus Shadow right now, or also the sword games I played in Tempest, where I had to play versus pre-nerf Zell. That shit was difficult, because again, like, it was one of those, like, I had to play out of my mind in order to win those games, and, like, and those are one of those things that, like, it happens, like, so rarely. Well, like, it's one of those, like, when it happens, like, you feel, like, so good when it does, just because, like, just because you know you played as well as you could when your opponent was also playing his best, and it wasn't like oh well, I was playing aggro and I just steamrolled him, haha. No, like it was one of those. It was an even game, like you just back and forth. But like those kind of games that like really excite me. The other one that comes immediately to mind is back when I used to play League of Legends, because yes, I did actually play League of Legends. In season 6, I want to say, in season 6, or maybe it was season 5, one of the two. There was a game where I literally won the game for my team despite getting like flamed by like three of my teammates. Just using my Z-Zero to just go ahead and somehow like clear the enemy's base, and they didn't deal with it, and just like 9.5 players, the 0.5 being myself, sat mid the entire game and did nothing, and then just we won. And then the last question for this video is, how good are you at tennis? Now, I'm assuming you're asking me this because of the whole my Prince of Tennis avatar. To be honest, I haven't actually played tennis in a few years. I don't think I'm like that good at it, just because because for me personally, I don't actually think I'm like that good at anything. I'm like all right, but I don't think I'm like amazing. But for the tennis in particular, like I said, I haven't played in a while. I don't like for tennis especially. I don't think I'm like that good, just because my hand-eye coordination is not the best. It's not the best, and I didn't actually take the tennis club very seriously when I was on it, which is kind of weird, considering the whole I really like Prince of Tennis, just did not take being on the team seriously. But yeah, that's all the questions for this week. I do hope that they've been watching, or sorry, they've been listening and following along and all that. If you've made it this far, thank you. Go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of these, because again, Ask Nan, it's something that I enjoy doing for you guys, just because you guys come up with a lot of weird questions for me. But I like it just because I get a wide variety of questions that ordinarily would not be able to answer for you, just because no one's trying to listen to me talk for no one's trying to read a 10 minute essay or whatever if you ask me these questions or over Discord or something like that. So yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm really sorry that this was so late. I will try to have Ask Nanjiroh week 8 on time though. So look forward to that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.